Everyone in the world knows Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau is here. As I said, everybody in the world knows Walter. He's a completely versatile actor. He's won an Academy Award. He's starring now in a movie called I Ought to Be in Pictures with Ann Margaret, which will be released March the 26th. Would you welcome Walter Matthau? How are you, Walter?
Right here.
Were you, Mr. Matthau is here under not the best conditions tonight. Would you, shall we run down the problem? I know you've had a little eye problem.
I was driving... to see my stepdaughter in a play on Friday night. And suddenly I got a flash of light, left periphery. Looked like a firecracker or maybe a bolt of lightning or a neon sign flashing. And there wasn't anything there. Then I started to see little black bugs and looked like horse and wagons and marbles. That was the hemorrhaging. I called up, they have a great eye clinic here, Jules Stein Eye Clinic, and great doctor there, Dr. Stratzman. And he says, well, it sounds like you got a retinal problem. Went down there. I said, I have a 4 o'clock dental appointment. He says, you better cancel that. So I got in at 3, and I got out 4 days later. I had a torn, detached, and hemorrhaged retina.
That's not pleasant, is it?
It's not pleasant, but they do such wonderful work there that they didn't even use a laser beam. Used something called cryotherapy. It's a pencil-like thing, has a freezing edge.
Yeah.
And what they do is they freeze the tissue, and it becomes scarred, and therefore sealing off the retina so that the vitreous gel can't get in.
Yeah.
And buckle it.
So things are much better now.
Oh, God, yeah. I was in a marvelous room with another fellow who said to there was a very cold-looking nurse, very stern, and he said to her, she said, well, what are you going to have for breakfast? And he said, could I have, some orange juice, but you know the little cups they use for the urine specimens? He says, could you empty one of those out and put the orange juice in that cup? He says, because when I like to smell a little urine, he says, and she is looking at him. What is this guy talking about? When I drink the orange, he says, and could you let me have 2 eggs? I like them runny. Like, don't maybe put them on the grill maybe for 4, maybe 3 seconds the most. And don't use butter. Use Crisco. Or if you have some Pennzoil. And this nurse is staring at him. He says, and give me some bacon. I want it raw, if possible. I want raw bacon, and I want coffee left over from last week. She says, what are you talking about? I can't serve you a breakfast like that. He says, well, you did yesterday. Would you believe I was sitting next to the guy. I couldn't believe what the guy was talking.
You get the funniest roommates. I'll tell you, you luck in all the time. I got to do a commercial. We'll be right back. You see a horse and wagon again? We'll... We're back, okay? Before we run out of time completely, We have a film clip from I Ought to Be in Pictures. I think we ought to show it and mention it. And
Sure.
it comes out the 26th, a few days. Does this need any, as they say, setup?
No, I'm a father. I haven't seen my daughter since she's 3. She's now about 20. The daughter is played by Dinah Manoff, a performance which will probably get her an Academy Award nomination because she's magnificent in it. I think she won the Antoinette Perry Award for it on Broadway. And she is simply a stunning actress.
So this is a meeting between you
This is a meeting between my daughter. I haven't seen her in 16 years. I'm a broken-down Hollywood writer, and she's come out to see what I look like and what I am.
All right, here's it from I Ought to Be in Pictures.
Good little scene.
You are good. It's wonderful to watch you work.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Neil Simon.
Yeah. I Ought to Be in Pictures. I guess it opens the 26th all over the country, I would assume.
Good picture.
Have you got time?
Made me cry.
Did it really?
There's a scene in it, made me cry. I've never cried before in a picture I was in.
Right.
Well, I mean, except once or twice I thought, this picture's not going to do anything at the box
A few tears, yeah.
And then I started crying for another reason.
You have time to tell, and I don't want to break a confidence because Jack Lemmon told me the story, not on the air, when you were filming down at the Kahala Hilton and you had fallen and hurting your back and were wearing a cervical collar and walking around with a cane, what you did to him. Do we have time to briefly tell that? Because it shows you what actors or comedians will do to get a laugh.
No, I had a pair of crutches, and I had an acromioclavicular separation in the left shoulder, and badly bruised neck and
You're wearing
head,
one of those?
and I wore a cervical collar, and I saw a beautiful girl, and she was an absolute stunning, classic, archetypical. Is that the way you pronounce that? Yeah. Just a great beauty. 16 years old. With one leg. And a prosthetic device. And I was staring at her. And Reverend Schuler, you must have seen him on the television. He came over and he said, "That's my daughter." He said, and she's going in to have some sort of an operation, and she's just full of optimism, and she plays baseball. And I said, "Well, how can you run?" She says, "Dad, I can hit a home run. I don't have to run around the bases." And he says, "Isn't that a wonderful, marvelous spirit?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And we talked for a while, and he went back and sat in his lounge chair around the pool, and I was going back upstairs, and as I passed the Reverend with my crutches, I took my crutches and threw them into the pool and walked without my crutches and started to walk upstairs, and he grabbed a hold of me and he said, "Son, I'm Reverend Schuler. I'm not a Reverend Stingley or Stangley." Is that the fellow?
Ainsley.
It's Ainsley, who makes you throw away your crutches.
And you did it just to get the reaction.
And I did it, even though I was in terrible pain when I threw the crutches.
We'll be right back.